All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the second part of the show, we are going to go through the power rankings that were released this week on NFL.com, and I will give you my thoughts on them as we go through them. So usually what we do is, of course, we start from 32 and work our way up, and I, say, hey, this might not be right, or, I agree with this. So let's go through that. So starting off, we go to number 32, and it's obviously the Carolina Panthers. They have the worst record in the NFL. And because of that, the Bears are in line to get the number one overall pick. They recently lost to the Bears last Thursday. And, because of that, Bears are in great position to get the number one overall pick. The offense has not looked great for the Panthers. This is a team that struggles to score points. I think you give Bryce Young another year, but it's concerning. It definitely is concerning how he's played this year. So then we go to 31, and in my opinion, I think this team might be the worst. Well, not might, is the worst team in the NFL, and that is the New York Giants. You're starting Tommy DeVito at quarterback. They got absolutely destroyed by the Cowboys on Sunday, which you expected because, the Cowboys always destroy the Giants. It's been like that. I'll be honest, when it comes to the Giants, take out 2016, all right, and take out 2020, all right, because they won the final game of the regular season that year. So 2017, 2018, 2019, and, 21 and 22. Ever since the Super Bowl year, the Cowboys have just owned the Giants. And the Giants have no answers. They don't. And it's embarrassing. It really is. That this team just who knows when they're ever going to, be better than Dallas or Philly, because they're just not. And it's been a long time. And I don't know when that day is going to end, but for now, that's where the Giants are at. They're 31. They're in my opinion, they're the worst team in the NFL. Now, if they played the Panthers, would they win? Well, if Tommy DeVito's playing quarterback, probably not. So, to me, they're the worst team in the NFL. And it's just another disastrous year for them. The Patriots are at 30. Losing 10-6 in Germany, that was rough. That was rough. And Bill Belichick did not get fired. Did not get let go, which I think everybody knew that was going to happen, but the fact that was, a rumor out there really just was weird. But, yeah, they're at 30, no surprise there. Arizona Cardinals are at 29. They jumped up 3 spots. And, like I said, I think we're going to talk about Kyler Murray in the next segment, but this is a team that I think will finish with a more respectable record now that Kyler's back. Now the offense, with James Conner being back as well. Trey McBride looks like a nice player, the young tight end. You still got Marquise Brown there. Wilson, the rookie wide receiver, Rondell Moore. They got some They got some good players on that offense. And now with Kyler Murray back, this team is going to win a couple more games. They're probably still going to finish with, double-digit losses. It's not like they're going to run the table and win, 8 straight and win and get to 9-8. But you gotta like what you saw from Kyler on Sunday, and we'll get into that more in the next segment. But they are at 29. The Bears are at 28, 3-7. Justin Fields supposedly is going to be back this week, so that's good news for the Bears. But a disappointing season they're having right now. The Rams are at 27. They're going to be getting Matthew Stafford back against Seattle on Sunday. They're 3-6 right now. You're hoping Karen Williams can come back at some point, because they kind of miss him in the running game. But, yeah, the Rams have been disappointing too. Looked like things were going to be different this year, and they were going to be back to the team that won this. Be somewhat of the team that won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. But that's kind of more of the same. 3-6 now, or 3-7. 3-6. Packers 3-6 at 26. They dropped down 3 spots. Although Jordan Love didn't play that bad. on Sunday. But again, the end of the game interceptions, that continues to be a theme. I mean, it's crazy. Like, literally every time the Packers are going down the field, to win the game, Jordan Love's always throwing a game-ending interception. Like, it happened against the Broncos, the Raiders, and now it happened against the Steelers. So Packers 3-6. Although he did look better. He did make some good throws. The touchdown to I think to Jaden Reed was a good throw. So right, I think it was Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed had a touchdown in this game. I mean, he's looked better, but we got to see more. And now he's going to be playing the Chargers on Sunday at home, so we'll see how he does in that game. The Titans at 25, they dropped down 3 spots. Will Levis the last couple of weeks hasn't been great after his impressive debut against the Falcons. Now he'll be playing Jacksonville, so we'll see if the Titans can get back on track. But they went down 3 spots. The Falcons went down 4 spots. They're now 4-6 on the season. Taylor Heineke actually got hurt in the game against the Cardinals, so Desmond Ridder had to come in. He scored a rushing touchdown. But the Falcons, I mean, the best chance they're going to have at making the playoffs is through the division. And again, who is going to win the NFC South? No idea. Commanders jump up to 3 spots. They're 4-6. Sam Howell looks legit. That offense, with Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson, Dotson, Logan Thomas, the team's pretty good. Their offense is pretty good. So if they could continue to build this team around Sam Howell and replace what they lost on defense when they traded some of their defensive linemen, I mean, this team is going to be decent moving forward. And Sam Howell looks like a good player. So, they're at 23. Jets dropped down 4 spots. They're at 22. I mean, that was an ugly performance on Sunday. The offense just really struggles to score points. And then they lost to the Raiders. So the Jets, it looked like, hey, maybe they're going to sneak in, even with the offense struggling. But if the defense can't force turnovers and put their offense in good field position, it's tough for them to score points right now. So they're at 22. The Raiders jumped up 4 spots. They're at 21. Yeah, I mean, listen, last 2 games they have won. Got to give them credit. But they did beat 2 teams that have offenses that struggle to score points. So you got to put that into perspective. But hey, they're 5-5, and it seems like the atmosphere there is a lot better. The vibes there, I should say the vibes there are a lot better than what they were with Josh McDaniels as the head coach. So, credit to Antonio Pierce. And we'll see what they do moving forward. Broncos jump up 4 spots. They're at 20. You got to like what they're doing right now. I mean, they at one point looked like they were going to have one of the worst records in the NFL. I mean, the Dolphins dropped 70 points against them. But, now they're 4-5. They just beat Buffalo. The defense is playing better. That's the other thing, too. I mean, now you're at home against the Vikings, which is going to be a tough game. But if you win that game, you're back to 500. And then you could really start saying, hey, maybe this team can make a run at the postseason. Which I don't think they will, but you never know. The Bucs are at 19 at 4-5. I mean, they should be 5-4 if it was not for C.J. Stroud. They played an okay game against the Titans on Sunday. Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans continue to connect for touchdowns. I didn't even realize Mike Evans dragged people into the end zone for that touchdown, and he could have had 2, but Baker kind of underthrew him on one of those deep throws. But hey, Mike Evans still made the catch. Yeah, I mean, the Bucs, I'd still look at them, and I'm hoping that they can win the division, but it's going to be tough. And now they got a game against the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday. So, yeah, not good. Not good. All right, so we go to 18 now. The Chargers, coming off of that tough loss against the Lions, losing 41-38. Look, the offense is great. The defense, not so much. Not so much. And that's what's going to hurt this team. They do play the Packers on Sunday, which I think they should win. That'll get them back to 500. But listen, Brandon Staley, expertise is defense. Well, your defense He's really not that good. It's pretty bad. So, yeah, Chargers at 18. Colts at 17. They jumped up 2 spots. They're at 5-5. Got to give them credit. This team, I think maybe gets to, 8 wins. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but you know what? This team has I think, a bright future. You get Anthony Richardson back next year. Give him some more weapons. Do what you got to do, and maybe this this team could be even better next year. But 5-5, you got to like what they're doing. And with Jacksonville losing, and them winning, that closes the gap on the division. But I still think Jacksonville wins the division at the moment, but that can change. The Saints, they dropped 3 spots. That was a bad loss to the Vikings. It could have been a lot worse if it wasn't for Jameis Winston trying to get the team back in it after Derek Carr got hurt. Marshawn Lattimore, Michael Thomas both suffered injuries in this game. It seems like Michael Thomas is going to be out for an extended period of time. So, the Saints go into their bye at 5-5. But they just, I can't really figure them out. They just are, they're not a very good team. But again, somebody's got to win the NFC South. Vikings at 15 at 6-4. Yeah, they keep rolling. Josh Dobbs now playing quarterback. Yeah, they look good. They're at 15. The Bills drop all the way down to 14. Now the Steelers passed them. The Steelers are at 13. Bills are at 14. I can't really argue with that. I feel like the Bengals, though, being at 12, I feel like just because of that one loss, they made them go down 3 spots. I'd still put the Bengals in the top 10. Seahawks are at 11. I'm not really going to complain about that. The Texans are in the top 10. They went up 5 spots. You know what? They do deserve it because they did beat the Bengals, and now they got a winning record. C.J. Stroud is playing unbelievable. But I don't know. I feel like the Bengals should still be in the top 10, but that's just me. Browns are 9th after the big win against the Ravens. I don't really have any complaints about that. I feel like the Jags should be outside of the top 10. They got absolutely destroyed by the 49ers, and the offense is struggling. I would probably leave them out of the top 10. The Cowboys at 7, they should be in the top 10, even though they played against the Giants, but, they did what they were supposed to do. Dolphins are at 6. 49ers are at 5. I think the 49ers should be a little bit higher, in my opinion. The Lions are at 4. Listen, they're a top 5 team, but they got to fix that defense because that defense still is a little bit of an issue. Then you got the Ravens at 3, Chiefs at 2, Eagles at 1. I don't really have any complaints with that. And we'll see who the best team in football is when the Eagles and the Chiefs play each other on Monday night, the Super Bowl rematch from last year, which is going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, those are the power rankings. Let me know what you guys think. Who should be higher, who should be lower. Let me know in the comments below. And then once again, I just want to remind you guys before we go into our second break, to tip or donate, get your comments recognized, make sure to go to the following link. That is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that really helps the show, makes it more interactive between myself, the host, and you, the viewer. That is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip is the link. And as always, it is displayed on the show segment ticker on the bottom there. So, with that, we are going to take our second break of the show, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about Kyler Murray and his debut on Sunday and how he did. So stick around, and we will be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.